Okay, what are we talking about? Integrative medicine. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. It's because people had a dream. Amy, Craig, the board of directors, the initial faculty for the residency program, the pioneering students that joined that program, as well as all of our supporters, enable us to be here to celebrate 15 years of ICIM. This nonprofit was founded in 2009 with $1,000 contributed, I believe, from two of Dr. Matecki's patients by Amy and Craig, who in a partnership of physician and patient came together and said, we need to make sure more people have this kind of medicine. So after 15 years, we sort of feel like we've had the revolution. Now it's time for the evolution. What do we mean when we say integrative medicine? I've been struggling with this, I think, ever since I first heard the word, before even ICIM. There are many definitions, and I'm going to go over a few of them, but I want everyone here to take home the message that what ICIM has proposed and what they have evolved is a paradigm that is quite different from what other people mean when they say integrative medicine. And I'm going to use this picture of Dr. Gladys Bennett to precede the definition. That's Gladys doing some 5-animal Qigong with Dr. Cheryl Schwartz, who's in the audience. Who is Gladys? Gladys was an 84-year-old woman, a physician, who told me one of her proudest moments was meeting Eleanor Roosevelt when she was 17, and she was lost. She was very bright, a woman, not a lot of options open to her at that time. And Eleanor pulled her inside and spent time with her one-on-one and said, you can do whatever you dream. You can achieve it. So Gladys went on to become the first white female to graduate from Howard University, a historically black college and university on the East Coast. She became a psychiatrist, always sort of bucking the trend, but she had a great life, and then cancer caught her. She had an excellent team of caregivers, but she was totally depleted. She had really very little quality of life. She was in a wheelchair. She was suffering from the effects of her treatment, as well as from the cancer. And that's not how she wanted her last days to be. So she found Dr. Matecki and Dr. Checky, and they folded her into the integrative model, which included doing TCM with herbs and acupuncture and Qigong. After, Dr. Feng will have to tell me how long, but after a certain period of time, this is what Gladys looked like. She went swimming with the dolphins before she died. She had a big party to say goodbye to everybody, and her life was dramatically changed. And I want to say to you, everyone deserves, for the last 180 more days, to look like that. And that's what we're committed to. So here's the more academic, the definitions we have, which I'm not going to read to you. But what I would suggest to you is that these definitions from the National Cancer Institute, from NIH, all speak to a concept, but not a reality. So I would ask you the next time someone says to you, oh, I'm going to an integrative medicine clinic, look and see how it's structured and how they pull the people into the team that are taking care of you. Very often, someone will say to me, well, integrative medicine, it's in every hospital now. But when you actually look at the website or you go in, they'll list all the medical specialties, and down on a ribbon, it'll say, and we refer to acupuncture, meditation, yoga, massage, And what ICM does is puts those together in a seamless, I'm going to call it a gift, to the patients, their families, and the community. So patients no longer have to say to their TCM practitioner, "You're really helping me, but I can't tell my oncologist because they believe this will interfere with my care, or they only want me to have one person." Or the other way around, the TCM practitioner who says, "We can take care of that with just herbs and acupuncture, some tuina." The blending means that the patient doesn't have to cobble together a plan of care. It's done for them, it's customized by these specialties who talk to each other, who put their notes in the same medical chart and read them, and then involve the patient in developing the plan of care. If the board of directors would please stand. I think we have Dr. Feeney is here, and Craig, Dr. Feng, and Dr. Matecki. Thank you for your dedicated work. At one point, Amy told me how many years of expertise and knowledge is represented by the board, but I don't think I'm going to roll that one out, but it's significant. So we have legal counsel, we have Western medicine, Eastern medicine, the combination of the two, and then Roger Smith, who will be here later this afternoon, brings the financial business piece to the board. The board has stayed essentially the same for 15 years, a volunteer board that just puts their whole passion behind what ICM does. We recently put the ICIM decal up at Dr. Feng's center. That's now the new ICM mailing address, and we'll see what happens from there. And as you see, the mission statement for ICM is that we combine the best of Eastern and Western integrative medicine through innovative research, education, and customized healing in a professional and financially stable environment. The service is for the benefit of patients, practitioners, community, and the world. One thing to this approach is that it very much depends on evidence-based research and making sure that what's offered to the patient can be verified and validated and is indeed going to help. We've talked about all of those other words, and I would say to you that what you're here today to support is bringing together the best of Eastern and Western and helping us push the definition of what we mean by integrative medicine. One word you're going to hear over and over again is partnerships. And some of the partnerships that we've been fortunate to have are the providers and patients that work with us, Highland Hospital, Alameda Health Systems, Five Branches University, if Ron and Joanna are here and could stand for a second. Who just recently celebrated 40 years of one of the first TCM schools in the United States. Congratulations. And the California Acupuncture Board, Dr. Chen is here to represent them and will speak to us this evening. Sutter Bay Hospitals, Primary Care at Home, and Hilo Now. Okay, I see I got a 5-minute sign, so you ready? When did integrative medicine start? I would suggest to you that where we sit today, where we're having to overcome some biases and prejudices about what we mean by integrative medicine, began really way back around gold rush time. When Eastern medicine came over with the Asian population, it was allowed to be because they only treated the Asian population. But then it evolved and other people saw its effectiveness, and pretty soon we had concern about what we meant by medicine and who could be licensed and who could do what. There's a famous report that was done by Western medicine called the Flexner Report, where they set up criteria for medical programs. And the expectation was that they would get rid of all the quacks and non-scientific institutions. So the number of schools dropped, and essentially any attempt to bring in what we call alternative or complementary it wasn't stopped because the people are always going to ask for this medicine. And Dr. Small will speak to that later this morning. But it did pose very firm silos. So I suggest that this is some of the research that shows that people actually feel better and have better quality of life if they can have the form of integrative medicine that we're talking about. And that it can also save money. It can reduce hospital stays, it can prevent hospital stays, and it also will involve the family to support the patients. You'll be hearing a lot about the work of ICIM. It's three-pronged: clinical services, education, and research. And we'll be telling you about these programs as we move through our program, our schedule. One of our most important programs is the residency. If I could have our current residents wave their hands. They're a great group. They're very inquisitive and a joy to be with us. And I don't think we have any former residents, do we? Oh, there we go, Jessica. Up, up, up. Jessica Parker. And there'll be some other former residents joining us at dinner. The other thing we have is the ICMV Lead Medical Research Project, in which a team of ICM faculty work with high school students, teaching them how to critically review the scientific and medical literature and do a meta-analysis or systematic review of the literature on a research question. And they're expected to push that all the way through to a paper that is publishable, as well as do a presentation and a poster. Another initiative is the Medical Qigong Program for people living with cancer, which is sponsored by the Comprehensive Cancer Center in Berkeley, and which Dr. Feng has been teaching since the year 2009. We went into hiatus during COVID, and then we went to Zoom, and now we're hybrid. And this is a wonderful benefit that is provided to people, and it also gives us an opportunity to introduce people to the integrated medicine model. So, where do we go next? I suggest deepening and expanding our partnerships and put them on steroids. A little bit of Western medicine to create an environment so that true integrative medicine can thrive. I was talking to the residents last Thursday, and we were talking about how are we going to get this kind of medicine pushed forward. And I pointed to each of the 6 of them, and I said, you are the future. And your being here supports that mission and gives us all courage to continue. Dr. Alex Feng is someone I know really well. He found me in Cancun 31 years ago, and life has never been the same since. Dr. Feng, born in China, raised in Taiwan, immigrated to the United States with his family in the 60s, and opened his martial arts school when he was 18 or 19 years old, and then decided that rather than the lawyer or the doctor that his parents were hoping for, he felt his cultural beckon to come and do traditional Chinese medicine. So he recently celebrated 50 years in the profession. He has his Jidaoguan, I can't pronounce my own place, Jidaoguan Taoist Center in Oakland, which houses the clinic, the Taoist temple, and the studio for the martial arts. He's been one of the leading figures in bringing integration to the Western world, and he did that through partnerships. And that's one of the reasons we're having him begin, because it was really his partnerships with physicians that go back into the 70s where all of this started. Dr. Feng.
Thank you, Charlene. My teacher always greeted people with great respect and great love. I welcome you all. So I'm here to just talk a little bit about, hi, Dr. Small. A little bit about how I got here. So, integrative medicine. My name is Alex in English, Alexander in German, Feng in Chinese. So I was destined to be in an environment of integration. I came to this country and I was going to UC Berkeley studying physics and psychology. I was very unhappy for whatever reason. So I talked to my dad, who is a philosopher and sort of a world healer. He says, why don't you look into something that's significant about healing, which is what you want to do, and something with tradition. So he introduced me to Dr. Yang Rizhao. Here you see in the picture. Some of you who've been in the audience, have been around for a while, will recognize Dr. Yang Rizhao, a very well-known scholar, healer, specifically in herbal medicine. So I apprenticed with him. At that time, there were no school available. So all you have to learn is by your study and through apprenticeship. And just share a very small story, 2 stories with Dr. Yang Rizhao that I enjoyed. Number one, there was a conflicting time where...
Advance it one. This is the one that's on right now. This one.
Okay. There we go. Acupuncture is illegal. So I was struggling to figure out what should I be doing in this field, traditional Chinese medicine. So I went to talk to Dr. Yang, and he says to me, do you want to do this? I said, yes. He says, just do it. That was it. Second great experience I had with him is I was doing apprenticeship with him in San Francisco, Chinatown, off Stockton. And he worked behind a herbal store. And patients would come in, take looks at the tongue, takes a pulse, ask a couple of questions, write a prescription. Okay, go pay over there. Or go get your herbs over here. That went on all day. So I sit next to him. I would listen to how he asked questions. I can't take the pulse, but I can look at the tongue and try to learn from all of that. One day, one of the patients came in, not a question, not a pulse, not a tongue. He wrote a prescription. He says, go fill your herbs. So I said, Professor Yang, Dr. Yang, you didn't do any assessment. How could you just give a prescription like that? He looked at me and said, you fool. Didn't you hear him cough with phlegm next door? It opened my world in relationship to pay attention. Pay attention. Luckily, I met Dr. Bert Small in the 70s. He was one of the first physicians that went to China before Nixon and brought acupuncture into the United States. And in West Oakland, he was doing classes and practice. So I hooked up with him and we were doing acupuncture points on ourselves, because this is what you have to do to really experience acupuncture and to know how the patient's going to feel. So we did acupuncture on ourselves. We studied one of the first books that was translated, the Essential of Acupuncture. He's been very, very supportive of me doing something that I enjoy all through my life. Not only through the process of certification or licensure in California. Afterwards, whenever I had questions, I would refer to him. He would come back with suggestions or answers to treat my patients, including my father when he was very ill at Summit Hospital. Dr. Small was there advising how to take care of my dad. Thank you, Dr. Small. This is going not the right way. Oh, this way. So, you also see, no? Do you see Slava Ellis? How about right here? Okay, Slava Ellis was a psychiatrist who I met, and it was in Berkeley, and he was interested in Chinese medicine. So once again, the first translated book on acupuncture we got, and we studied acupuncture. Dr. Slava Ellis can't make it today. He's now in Grass Valley. He's no longer a psychiatrist, he's a neurologist now. An interesting story with him is that one day we were studying something and we asked a question on Western medicine, and he didn't know how to answer. So all the class, our classmates looked at him like, you should know this stuff, you're a physician. He paused and he says, see all those books behind me? He said, what I don't know, I can find out. What a great way to learn something. What you don't know, there's ways to find out. So these two are my great mentors in my beginning of my career in traditional Chinese medicine. As you know, it was illegal. A lot of my colleagues like George Long, Merriman Lee, they were all being arrested for practicing. And then through Moscone and through Governor Brown at that time, it became legalized in 1976. And I got my license. I was one of the first 300 people in the state of California that then went after what I liked. And then somewhere along the line, I was giving a talk at graduation at Oakland Acupuncture School, where I was a clinic professor. And Dr. Matecki and her husband, Dr. Wayne, was in the audience, and I realized Dr. Matecki is a physician doing traditional Chinese medicine in a traditional school. I was very impressed, our first meeting. And then, well, actually before that, I was giving a talk at Highland Hospital where she was still a resident. And then graduation with Wayne and Dr. Matecki. And then the third was Dr. John Graff, who is a surgeon at the Summit Hospital. And I was teaching Tai Chi to him. And he invited Dr. Matecki to come and visit a wonderful class of Tai Chi. That was my third meeting with destiny to meet Dr. Matecki. So Dr. Matecki says, well, why don't you come and take a look at being able to teach Qigong at Herrick campus, Alta Base. And I said, okay, let's try that for cancer patient. And then that evolved into doing practice of acupuncture for cancer patients with the support of Dr. Matecki and Dr. Gary Checki at that time. Then Dr. Matecki had a creative idea. Why don't we go to Highland Hospital and create an integrative medicine program with the support of Dr. Feeney? Without Dr. Feeney's support, it could not have happened. So Dr. Matecki gathered like 18 people, all volunteering. Some of them are in the audience right now, Dr. Rona Ma, Julie Zhu, quite a few people who were the initial, Angela too. Chris, where's Chris? Right there. There you are. There we go.
This is the one that you're talking to.
Oh, okay. I'm not good at dates, so you're going to have to look at the dates and figure out. In my life, there's no time. So look at the dates and figure out. We'll go way back. So where am I? Dr. Matecki, Highland Hospital, great program. We had students. We were doing morning reports. We were doing study with residents. We were collaborating with other departments. We went to ICU. We did emergency. We did great work. And working with physicians, residents, and visitors from other countries like Cuba, New York, that also participated in the program that Dr. Matecki created. And as Charlene mentioned earlier, it is truly an integrative process, which is very rare. You hear about integration, but this is truly, truly working together, learning from each other. As Dr. John Shen mentioned last night, don't fight. Don't think I'm better than you, whether you're Western medicine or Chinese medicine. Don't fight. Learn the best from each other for the benefit of the patients, for the people you're taking care of. Highland Hospital. What else can I say? This is a great program. I loved it. And right now it's at a different place. It's Sutter Hospital. We have new residents that's being trained with seasoned practitioners and seasoned both in traditional Chinese medicine and in Western medicine. They're getting the best of both worlds. You can't get any better than that. It really, really is a great gift. And because of the vision and the dream that Dr. Matecki has. Truly, truly a visionary. And all of you, if you see somebody who has a vision similar to your ideas and belief, support it. Support it. I have a good, used to teach judo. And I had a judo friend that worked with me, Mr. Joe Watson, for 18 years, volunteer his work. And he said something very important to me one day. He says, support what you believe in. If you don't, one day you turn around, it's not going to be there anymore. So support what you believe in. And this is a momentous time. 100 years from now, somebody's going to look at this video and say, wow, what have they done? They created an arrowhead into a system that allows East and West to be combined, joined together for the best of patient care.
This is my partner in crime. I would be willing to bet that almost everyone in this room is here because you believe in her heart. Yes? Her mother named her Soaring Eagle for a reason. You've seen her bio. You know that she was trained in China as a physician and TCM practitioner, and then came here and repeated the whole thing. Very unusual, but that plus her spirit is what imbues the vision of ICIM. Dr. Matecki. Thank you. So this is what you're speaking to, what your son is here.
She dragged you out of retirement.
Thank you, Dr. Ossler. Thank you, Dr. Feng. And thank you, Dr. Finney. And everyone's here in person. And I know many of you being text me. Also, you are watching us online. I'm so grateful here. And also, I want to special thanks Scott team, the tech, the registration. We have so many support here. It's humbling for me to be here. And I want to give a little bit of history why we do this in a short time, 4 months ago. We've been talking about this conference for years. ICIM want to put it together. But a few months ago, it's become in my heart, burning desire. And it's to the point it just escalated. One part of it is because of the Medicare. And I have so many seniors patients supposed to get a certain treatment, but because of the reimbursement, everything, they cannot got certain treatment. So it's become my part feel like the cost saving, cost effective for this integrative medicine. So I would like to let you know why 4 months ago, actually we've been talking about it, but really is start put together in a very short time. Thanks to everyone being willing to support us through Dr. Ossler, Dr. Feng's talk. You see, I won't be here today. And Craig's the one spent a year meet with me every week to push me out of my nest. I told him I don't want to be the first bird to get shot, fly out of the forest. True story. You can ask him how he forced me to be out. And then he told me, let's go get the best people. We form a nonprofit organization. I'm like, best people? All I know is the one trained me, Dr. Feng. You can ask him. When first I started the residency, he could not understand my English. For anyone in the audience afraid about speak English, and ask Dr. Ma how I recruited her from retirement. She said, oh, maybe I can learn English better. That's how she started in Highland. She will go talk to the nurse, talk to the doctors, massage their back, introduce Chinese medicine. So every of interns, resident, you are here because all your seniors, acupuncturists, has paved the way. Dr. Tu. So anyone, could I release your age, please? No? Okay, so is it okay? Okay. So she said she's 65. So you can add many numbers on it. Ask her. Okay. So Dr. Ossler already mentioned that the board is really getting up there with the age. So we need a younger generation, and also we train the high schools for reasons. Okay, I'm going to advance my slide. I have nothing to disclose, and all the relationship, and I'm just very honored to be affiliated with ICIM board. This is the best nonprofit I'm serve, volunteer, and still today, the contract with Sutter Health is I must be a volunteer, and also special thanks my family, my husband, Wayne Matecki, never worry about it. I'm a volunteer and very supportive. And thank you, and also I want to know, the photos here I approved by patients, families, and also there's a live patients in the audience I will introduce all of you to. And the learning objectives you will see from my slide. There are briefly introduced how I started. I know my name being mentioned, but I want everyone to wear my hat from China originally, how I believed this medicine can be carried out over almost a quarter century later. And all of you have been supported, and I hope you will continue to carry the torch. We go to the finish line. So you can see how humbling many years ago, and you can see the 9 physicians, some of them in the US, some of them still in China, on the top left. So that's my... All right, thank you. Okay, so you can see on the top left, so this is my medical school, 9 physicians, women physicians in my class. If you can find where I am, great. If it's not, I can point you later. And fast forward, okay. George Sousa is my personal coach. If you don't know him. Oh, can you see the picture? Oh, in the first row. But mostly importantly, you can see the second on the top in the middle. That's where my Western medicine training. Actually, Highland Hospital is really where my life begins. You can see in the front, Dr. Feng, and also you will meet Dr. Barry, who recognized me, interviewed me, and took me in as an intern at Highland Hospital. At the time I applied for the hospital, I didn't realize how competitive for a foreign graduate to get into a residency. I only had 2 interviews among, I think, 30 programs I applied. one of the wise advisor told me, if you don't like the other one, don't even apply, or don't even, I interviewed, so I didn't submit it for the rank. I only did with Highland, and I got accepted. I believe Dr. Feng will tell you how tough that program is. So you can see I become who I am as all the mentors all the way along. And also you can see below, it's right there, that's I started in the cancer center. Dr. Check is in the back, who saw the value, the training I have, but I didn't realize at the time, he has no clue. He invited me, join the cancer center, said, I don't know what my patients are doing with the tree barks, leaves. So you come in, you can do the touch feeling and watch their safety. So that's how I get recruited to the Comprehensive Cancer Center. Can see my colleagues here, and especially Ron Seidman and Dr. Joanna Zhou, the 5 branches of university. The residency program, without them, we won't start this program here. So there's a lot of partnership, and especially you can see there's a pairs below dress the gown. So my husband and I, we graduated, Dr. Feng delivered the keynote speech. And also I want to see my parents is always there watch me, and I want to give the thanks to each one of you here and also my family. So the following slide, I will go really fast.
My organization, America First League.
Oh, that's great.
And she doesn't follow directions.
Okay, so this is where we said how this integrative medicine in this country. That's where I see in the training with Western Medicine Hospital on your left side, that's the patients it looks like. And that's not even a stage 4 cancer patients. On the right side, you can see all those smiling face. There's 3 stage 4 cancer patients. Everyone in China, if you are in the hospital for cancer, most of you are stage 4. And when we take this picture, they were asked why. I said, I want to show the Westerns why integrative medicines work. So over there, oncology patients, in the morning, you can see they get infusion chemo. One of the arm get chemo, another arm maybe get the herbs infusion. And in the afternoon, they will go to acupuncture, massage, qigong, learning nutrition, various programs, very comprehensive. And early, you heard about the partnership. And Craig Brandt is one of the patients. And also, I want to see early days, I have many of the patients supported the program. They become my champion to speak and negotiate with the hospital. And here you can see with the Chevy, also it's one of the young patients really worked very hard from the news. This is the Auckland Tribune, published his story. And also on the left corner is one of my patients, Mr. Don Hart. And I promised him in my talk, I will put him in my slide because that's what he requested, metastatic lung cancer, lived over 7 years. He is a rocket scientist. He will calculate his tumor growth and the size, everything. So one part of why he's here, when initially we started integrative medicine, the oncologists really didn't think they would like this voodoo medicine in the Berkeley Comprehensive Cancer Center. So he asked, he said, do you eat spinach? He asked his oncologist. Oncologist said, what kind of question is that? He said, show me the evidence-based study the spinach is not a toxin. Think about that. And also you will meet one of the patients here, Joanne Hopper, who is the attorney and also helped change the lymphedema practice in this country, the guideline. And you will see there's a poster in the back also. Lymphedema, which means the swelling of the arm, you're supposed not to needling the arms. And when the time we started, that was contraindicated. But she said, you know, you can treat this, and I would like you to treat my arm. We have to rewrite the consent form and also change the guideline, and Memorial Sloan Kettering use our data, published 1139 cases actually is safe, and Memorial Sloan Kettering use our data to publish the further study. And also you can see there's a case report. We published one of the case. You will meet the families here tonight too, is one of the case we reported, also put it together. Masscape news reporter reported this also. You can still Google, the topic is Chinese medicine, enhanced therapy for rare disease. What's the significant with this patient? When I started seeing him, he become living in the cancer center, either get a blood draw, transfusion, infusion, and it's pretty much 3-4 times per day, per week in the hospital. No quality of life. I started him on acupuncture, I started him on the herbal medicine, and in a short 3.5 years, in 6 months, he went back to chemo, decreased blood transfusion. From someone come to the cancer center almost every day, come to the cancer center every 2 months. He was traveling and all over the world, very complete, very satisfied at the end of his life. And in this report, you can see the transfusion, how much from 62 platelets transfusion at the end down to like 2 per year. And also, I just want to especially give the thanks to the ICIM board members. Physically went to China several times, and Dr. Feng and Craig and Roger, many of the board members, Alex and Dr. Ossler, they all went to China many times. And this is where the communication we see how to work, how we bring the authentic integrative medicine together. And also you can see Dr. Feng in the intensive care units with the chief of the China chief ICU intensivist. You can see the patients in the ICU will receive the herbs through the NG tube, and to help for prophylaxis, GI prophylaxis, and various treatment. It's very integrated. And also, Dr. Feng will talk more about how we started this intensive care patients acupuncture for pain and nausea in the ICU feasibility study. And also in your pamphlet, you can see there's many of the scientific papers. Throughout the years, we will deliver the talk, and if you can see many of them, Google it or on the PubMed, include our own research. And also the protocol for the acupuncture treatment. And finally, Miss Bui in the audience, if you don't mind standing up, you guys can talk to her. She is a stage 4 cancer patient. She has been supported for the 14 years. So just to let you know, she doesn't look like a cancer patient. And thank you for giving me the time